Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations. This is your Queen of Shade, coming at you with another special presentation. This time is another solo presentation. My voice, my thoughts, my perspective. There are some things I want to talk to you about tonight. Some things that woke me up early this morning and I was cussing and fussing because I didn't understand. And I went to my grandmother and she tried to bring clarity. And I said I was going to do this video, and here it is. I'm doing this video. The world is in an uproar right now about, and not just the world, people who think they matter. Can we say that again? People who think they matter are in an uproar because Elon Musk is purchasing Twitter for $44 billion. There have been many financial analysts and this, that, and the other. Never any of them who have done to his caliber of business, mind you. Mind you, let's start there. But they have all these words and things to say about what he's doing. True entrepreneurs know that if you purchase Twitter for $44 billion, you make $300 billion back. It's just the moving of money. It's not like he's purchasing a dead-end horse. The horse is going to continue to go. It's just going to change owners, and he will start collecting the profits from the engagements and interactions that go on Twitter. And he will make back his money and a whole lot more. But that's just the business side. But I've been thoroughly upset and vexed that so many people think they have the right to tell this man how to spend his money or what to do with his money. He made his money himself. It's his money. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people helped along the way. A lot of you have worked in those Walmart stores. A lot of you have worked in those Sam's Clubs. A lot of you have been employed by Mr. Musk and collected your checks and did exactly what you wanted to do with your check and didn't want anyone to tell you how to spend your money. So why all of a sudden is it an issue with this man whom has amassed great fortune to spend his money the way that he wants? Let me first start off by saying it's his money. He can do whatever he wants to do with it. If he decided he wanted to have a shitting party and everybody shit on $100,000 bills, he could do that and then burn it. He could do that. It's his money. It's his money. My objection in this is not a moral objection. It's the fact that people really feel they have a right to tell someone else who did some hard work that he can't do what he wants to do with his money. Who are you? You've never made money to the caliber of this man. You don't have a cart in the race, a horse in the race. You can't even get into the Derby. And you're making public, on television, public statements against this man with what he's doing with his money. This bothered me because, you see, for a long time in my life, I've been the underdog. For a long time in my life, I've had to work my ass off to get what I have. When I came here 15 years ago, the government denied me my SSI money because of my bipolar type 1, my PTSD, and my acute anxiety disorder. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in a great haste to calm me down, one of my family members slipped a barbiturate in my orange juice, volume. And I had no reason, nor was I any the wiser that she had done that. And then took me to a hospital, and I did a piss test trying to be admitted to the hospital because I needed to be into the hospital. And they said I had Valium in my system. So they thought I was a drug addict. And because of that, the judge stood me up in court, cursed me out, told me, and I needed my money, I was very sick, told me he was not giving money to a drug addict for me to drug it and piss it away. Then he told me, there's one job you can do for the rest of your life: fold laundry in a laundromat. You have to understand something. Mental illness is real. I had nothing, nowhere to live, no money, no one to really call on. And then my grandmother stepped up. And what's worse about that is that my family didn't even want her to do that. But she stepped up and provided me a place to live. And I want to let you know something. It has been no cakewalk for me to get to where I am. Because I couldn't get my SSI and I was denied my SSI and still needed medical attention and treatment, the treatment that I have had for the last 15 years, I had to go on public welfare. Oh yes, come, let us reason together and talk. I had to go on welfare. 15 years. They paid for my psychiatrist. They paid for my therapist. They paid for my food because I got a food ration too. 15 years. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And my psychiatrist said to me, use your talent. It's what you have. Use it. But you have to understand something about those 15 years. They were hell. I was a traumatized child that saw his mother and father do drugs in front of him. I'm very terrified of needles, though I have learned to tolerate them. But I used to hyperventilate every single time I had to give blood because I didn't want that needle to go in my arm because it reminded me of my mother. And every single month for 15 years, I had to have needles put in my arm and blood drawn out of me to check the blood levels and the medicine levels in my blood to make sure they were not toxic, A, and that I was getting enough of the medication to avoid hospitalization or another manic episode. I want you to understand something. My life was not pretty. It was not pretty. And I've been suffering in silence for years. And my grandmother has done all that she could to help me. Nobody else helped me. People kept saying, oh, you're so gifted. Oh, you're so talented. One day you're going to make it. But nobody went in their pocket and handed me even so much as a nickel or a dime. And I want you to know something. This welfare system is flawed as well because you get the food stamps. No, I didn't have a bunch of babies. I had a medical condition. And they always ask on the medical evaluation when you have to renew, do you have a life-threatening illness? Do you take life-threatening, life-sustaining medication? And my answer is always Yes. Always. Yes. It was not pretty for me. I should not be sitting here with you, looking this beautiful, wearing this beautiful mane and lashes, talking about my life and blessing the world with every word that comes out of my mouth. But I'm here. I have suffered for everything that I have. Everything that I have. And my grandmother has suffered with me. The people that robbed me of my SSI, would you think that they would monthly give me a stipend? No, they didn't. They shrugged it off and went on about their life. Why? Because it wasn't affecting their lives. They were ruining mine. Now you understand why I don't fuck with my family outside of my grandmother and my nephews. For 15 years, I have had to have them draw blood out of my arms every month and be reminded that I am not my mother or my father shooting up. Do you know what kind of trauma that is to a child that saw his mother take her first hit in the 80s? Then to have no help. I come from humble beginnings. I grew up poor. My grandmother was the only successful person in the family, and she was a teacher, and none of the people under her did anything with their lives or thought more to help anybody else other than themselves. So I was dragged up. And when I hit college trying to get out of my family situation and running from my past, I was expecting to stay there. And then I got sick with something I never even thought I knew I had. Never knew. And it sent me hurling to the earth in disgrace. Back home to a home where I had to sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag in the living room. From 7th grade to 12th grade, to finally get to college, to sleep in a bed, to have to come back home to sleep on the floor with people that didn't even want to help me or want me there. You may ask yourself, what does this have to do with Elon Musk and him purchasing Twitter? I want you to understand it has a lot to do with Elon Musk and him purchasing Twitter. I have worked tirelessly to build this brand, to keep it in a legal ramification, to make sure every bell and every whistle is checked. And like I said, 6 years, I didn't make a single dime. I had to just sit still and wait for my intellectual property to begin to accrue interest. Bleeding out of my arms, taking medicine. The welfare system is flawed because you have provided me with health care and food stamps. But where was I supposed to live? On the street? Was I supposed to collect welfare and go to shelters? They didn't care. They didn't care. You must be asking yourself, what does this have to do with Elon Musk and Twitter? It has everything to do with Elon Musk and Twitter. And here's why. I am on the precipice of a great becoming. I have put in the work. I have worked and pulled myself back from the jaws of death and the brink of extinction. And I am here. I am here. And unashamed of it, of anything. Yeah, 15 years of welfare. That's how I sustained myself. And I'll be damned now that I'm on the precipice of great increase that I'll let someone tell me how to spend my money. Where were you when Elon Musk was making his money? Where were you when I was working like a slave in my room, not going out, giving up sex for 10 years, not partying, not clubbing, saving every little penny that I could so that I could be a good steward over it and make it grow in my business? Do you see? This is why my grandmother gave me her retirement. And I have had to pay taxes on that retirement for the last 6 years, collecting welfare and food stamps because my country robbed me of a little check that could have helped me continue to get health care so that I could see psychiatrists, primary care physicians, and take life-sustaining medication that I do each and every single day of my life. And I'll be damned if someone ever comes to me and says, why did you buy that big house? Why did you buy that car? Why aren't you giving to little boys in Africa and little girls in Africa? Why aren't you? Why aren't you? Just because Elon Musk makes more than most people will ever see in 20 lifetimes does not obligate him to give his money away. When you take your checks and go out and club and drink, the woman that was talking about him had diamonds in her ears. I don't see you selling your diamonds and going and giving and feeding the children in Africa. I don't see you going without. Why does Elon Musk have to go without? Oh, because he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire? I beg to differ. I brought this up because when I make mine, I don't want nobody saying nothing to me about how I'm spending my money. I suffered for this. I bled for this. I died for this. You don't have to die a physical death. Over and over again, I was derailed and burst into flames like the phoenix that I am to be reborn, and it hurt. Had the blood taken out of my very veins every single month against my will, but I had to do it to make sure the medicine was doing what it was doing, what it was supposed to be doing. And I'd be damned if somebody gonna tell me how to spend my millions and billions. I don't care what Elon Musk is doing. That's his business. How about the world do the one thing that it can't seem to do, is come together and chip in a little bit. But oh no, we can't get over racism. We can't get over homophobia. We can't get over transphobia. We are banning little children from accepting the fact that they're trans and seeking medical attention. We doing all of that. We worried about a woman's right to choose what to do with her own body. But we not worried about banding together and actually ending hunger, actually ending homelessness, actually ending the outlandish cost of healthcare in the United States. There are so many people that can't see a doctor and they've got mental illness and they couldn't get it like I got it. 15 years of welfare, medical and food stamps. That's how I survived. And no one in their right mind is ever going to make fun of me for having to survive because, baby, I did what I had to do. And now that I'm on the other side of glory, a celebrity with offers on the table and can close out my welfare case with my caseworker, I wish I would hear a bitch say, well, why are you buying that? Why aren't you giving this? Baby, you weren't there the nights I cried and bled. I walked alone for this. I suffered for this. I hurt for this. I lost my entire family out of jealousy for this. Don't hate me. Everything I got, God gave me. And I'll be damned if I let someone tell me, oh, so Mr. Dufault, what are you doing to give back to the Black community? My question is, what is the Black community doing for itself? How about some of this money that's non-taxable that you're giving to these churches? How about the churches giving back to the community? That's what a church is supposed to do. Instead of paying car notes and house notes and buying boats and planes. Raping the people, draining the people dry so that you can have a good lifestyle and be the preacher, the bishop, the pastor. I have aught with anybody coming against me, telling me how I gotta live my life, because you don't know the half of what I had to go through to sit in this seat and be the queen of shade. The first thing I'm buying in the process of right now is health care. Because I need to be able to see my psychiatrist, my therapist, take my daily life-sustaining medication, and see my primary care physician who gets all the rest of my body together. You don't know what a person is going through. You don't know what a person had to go through. Elon Musk is summoned into rooms that none of us will ever be able to walk in. You don't know how much that man has given. And we have no right to tell him what to do with his money. We have no right. Just like you don't want nobody telling you what to do with your money. You go spend it on your nails and your feet. You go get your manicures every week. You go get your hair lined up. You go get new clothes. You walking around wearing Balenciaga and Louis Vuitton and Michael Kors and Marc Jacobs. You walking around wearing labels, red bottoms. Why don't you take those red bottoms and trade them in and pay a college loan instead of putting spinners on your car, like Janelle Monáe said? Putting spinners on your car, but won't pay college loans. You can look up that song. It's called Mary Jane. There's so much wrong in the world today. But I came here to tell you my story, the story that wasn't revealed. Your queen is still on welfare. But it's changing. I'm getting offers. And when I start buying the expensive stuff that you can't afford, I don't want to hear your mouth. See, I didn't commit welfare fraud. My business took losses for 6 years for all of you business people. It took losses for 6 years. I carried the loss on my taxes, and my grandmother carried the loss on her taxes through our K-1s. Ain't nobody cheat the government. It was done through legal channels. I didn't make anything, so it allowed me to continue to be able to do what I did and accept my grandmother's retirement fund. Paid taxes on that too. You don't know the half. the blood that is going out of these veins for me to sit here and do this. But I'll be damned if anyone tells me what to do with my money. So my attitude is, Elon Musk can do whatever the hell he wants because it's his money. I say let him drown. I say let the world drown, because what I teach is that we have to be the participant in our own rescue. I worked and rescued my own life. I built this. I built this. Yes, I had help, and so did Elon Musk, but I built this. This is mine. And it's compiling interest daily so that I can walk away from welfare and food stamps and medical. You people have a nerve. I wish somebody would. Don't hate me. You don't know my story. I walked alone. I suffered. I cried. I bled for everything that I have. And I'll be damned if I let some elitist black or somebody else tell me what I need to be doing with my money. You didn't live my life. It took me till 40 years old to get here. I got a whole rest of my life ahead of me. And baby, I'm going to live. I'm going to live out loud. I'm going to spend because I can't take it with me. And it's mine. I'm going to give where I want to give. And I'm going to withhold where I want to withhold. You look to somebody else to help the Black community, because the Black community didn't help me. Welfare did. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing